Today on the Toppy Show, the House of Representatives passed the SAVE Act with 221 yeas and 198 nays. AOC introduced articles to impeach Supreme Court Justices Clarence Thomas as well as Samuel Alito. John Deere gets ratioed on social media after their DEI leak. Volkswagen considering closing their Brussels EV plant. Walmart to make automated distribution centers. Intuit lays off 10% of their employees for performance. And BMW recalls nearly 400,000 vehicles. All of that and much, much more on the Topping Show. Thank you everyone for taking the time to tune in today. Today's episode of The Topping Show is proudly sponsored by Topping Technologies. Topping Technologies is an IT value-added reseller and services company with a special proficiency in IT security. Heck, I see their founder at least twice a day. Gotta say he's quite handsome and brilliant. He's me, you see, that's the joke. If you're an IT leader or a business owner, you can reach out to the team at sales@toppingtechnologies.com. Also, for the entire month of July, giving away a free 50 caliber musket or flintlock pistol with every IT purchase. Go to toppingtechnologies.com to learn more. Lastly, trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month. So if you could click that button and tell your friends, I would greatly appreciate it. Now going over to the business part of the podcast, you have Volkswagen considering closing their Brussels plant, and it causes their stock to drip a little bit. Now, this is brought to us thanks to the OG news network, Yahoo Finance, which used to be, I was going to say, the original search engine for most of us back in the day before Google just took over completely. And it's only about a minute long. Their voice is Brad Smith and Shiana Smith. Their voice is a little bit better than mine, a little more eloquent. We'll go ahead and play that really quick.
Look at some of the auto stocks this morning. Volkswagen shares are falling after the company considering closing its Audi
about $11.95 per share if you're just tuning in on the audio.
Plant in Brussels over weak EV demand. Yahoo Finance, a senior autos reporter, Prasu Romanian, is here with the details. Press.
Yeah, a lot going on here with this warning from VW talking about how they're lowering their operating return on sales or gross margin about 1% from 6.5 to 7 to 7 and 7.5, or reverse that. But the big issue here is you mentioned that shutdown in the Brussels factory. Now that factory there makes high-end EVs like the Audi e-tron Q8, which is a very expensive EV. And I'm not surprised by that because of the fact that demand is just high. It's harder for an $80,000 to $90,000 EV. But I was just in Europe recently.
I mean, especially an Audi EV? I don't think so.
Germany and Sweden, and cheaper EVs are everywhere. Volkswagen EVs, Volvo EVs, the cheap ones are there. That's what people want, and that's what they're going to shift more towards is the cheaper EVs. It's not an issue of demand from that point of view. It's harder for the higher price stuff. Even in China, even in the U.S., Jim Farley, Ford CEO, says we need to make cheaper EVs and make them affordable. And look what's happening. Their EV sales are up with the Mustang Mach-E, also the Kia and the Hyundai cheaper EVs.
Yeah, Ford also lost $132,000 per EV sold Q2, so just keep that in mind. Moving towards profitability, but not quite there yet. Now, it comes to Volkswagen, I don't want to say they broke my heart, but they kind of feel like they kicked the enthusiasts to the curb when they recently decided, oh yeah, we're going to kill the Porsche Cayman, which was one of the best track toys bar none, starting right under $80,000, which is a lot of money, don't get me wrong, it's more than I can afford. But for a fun track toy, they can just go out there, have some fun, well balanced, pretty good power. Not the most power, but downshifting into a corner, you can't beat that feeling. And they're going to kill that next year. They're going to bastardize it. They're going to turn it into an EV, which again you can't take to the track for a myriad of reasons. Not just because the charge time, you'd be there all day and maybe go I don't know 4 to 5 laps. I'm exaggerating just a bit, but they also don't have the infrastructure as well as the insurance policies, as well as the fire suppression technology at most plants to actually accommodate EV performance cars, if you want to debate if that is a real thing. Now, with Audi, the only people I know who are getting those Audi e-tron magical things is there's a couple of folks talking online about how the leases are so great they can't afford not to do it. Because the company is losing money on it. I don't know anyone who's actually purchased it. So, and again, the profit margins are not great. Again, over time, maybe it'll increase. It usually does when it comes to research development and new products. But yeah, Volkswagen, the CEO also admitted, oh yeah, we're no longer viable as a brand. That's something you usually admit to the public. And they also invested recently, was it 2 weeks ago, about $5 billion in Rivian, which will be interesting to see if they come out the end of the tunnel at the end of the day. A lot of changes in the automotive community. It'll be interesting to see what happens to Volkswagen and if they close down that plant. Again, German manufacturing is not cheap, and it'd be a lot, really the EV influx from China is going to destroy a lot of businesses, I think. even with all the tariffs that countries are slapping on it, they're still getting in the countries. And again, get that price point aggressive enough, you could conceivably be the point, even with the tariff, it doesn't really mark it up too much, relatively speaking. But let me know in the comments what your thoughts are. As always, it'd be fascinating to hear what you have to say. Other interesting business news, you have Walmart to open automated distribution centers. This is brought to us thanks to Melissa Rupico over at CNBC, which they say, quote, Walmart is opening 5 automated distribution centers as it tries to keep its grocery dominance, which again is pretty much the worst industry in regards to profit margin. It's hilarious how uneducated or ignorant people are, especially on LinkedIn. Most people are lambasting grocery stores going, oh, they're so greedy, they're evil, big corporations. Again, most of them are publicly traded. Anyone could go to their finances, download a 10K, review it. I'll save you time. The average profit margin for a grocery store is 2%. Also known as terrible, because again, you can't, one bad move, you're out of business. The only way they make money is the McDonald's model. Massive, massive, massive volume. It's also why you see stores like Walmart and Target having things that aren't food related to boost their profits, like electronics, clothing, perfumes, and jewelry, and all those types of silly things. And yeah, Walmart's trying to figure out how can we increase our volume of business, how can we be more efficient. This is one way to do it, have the automated factories. And even though, fascinatingly enough, the CEO of Walmart, Doug McMillon, he actually says they don't expect that, the revenue to actually grow a lot. It's going to be the profits that are growing more in the next coming years as they make the company more efficient. So here you see one of those, kind of like just almost looks like it's from a sci-fi movie. It looks like a picture of one of those distribution centers. Now, they say that this is be done obviously to chase efficiency, as well as to bolster its online grocery business as that has continued to grow, which is becoming just more and more popular. And that's not unique to Walmart. You also have Target, as well as Kroger and other competitors are doing the online delivery for the groceries. Although, let me know in the comments. Maybe I'm just too paranoid, or maybe I just think I'm the best apple picker of all time, since Daniel Boone, some might argue. But as silly as it sounds, that's one of the reasons I enjoy actually going to, I don't really enjoy going to the grocery store, but I usually do that because I know I can pick the best apple on the shelf and the best vegetables and produce. And I can't but think, you have someone else picking it, they're not much really invested in that process. Especially they might just slam that fruit down and you get it bruised by the time it gets to you. So that's another detriment. Another reason I do self-checkout, I'm also faster than the average cashier. But nevertheless, they say, quote, the discounter's new facilities are roughly 700,000 square feet on average. Chilled and frozen areas have automation that stores and retrieves perishable items such as strawberries, frozen chicken nuggets that are later sold at stores or added to customers' e-commerce orders. Walmart is the nation's largest grocer, but it's modernizing its supply chain to keep up with customers who are increasingly picking up orders in the parking lot or getting groceries delivered to their doors. Store pickup and deliveries drove the company's 22% e-commerce gains in the U.S. in its most recent fiscal quarter. The retailer had been automating supply chain facilities across the country, including distribution centers in the handle shelf-stable items and fulfillment centers that help pack and ship orders online. Automation with higher margin businesses like advertising is a key reason why CEO Doug McMillon said in April 2023 that Walmart would, quote, grow its profits faster than sales over the next 5 years, which he also, I believe it was it Roku or Vizio where Walmart actually purchased them. And one of the main reasons was, again, the advertising capabilities behind that. Now, he also said, quote, we know what we own and in what quantity and where it is, all in near real time. And we know that a level of proficiency that is significantly improved than what we've been able to achieve with manual processes or legacy software. They note that, quote, automation is contributing to higher spending at Walmart. The company has said its capital expenditures for the year will be 3% to 3.5% net sales, which would translate to roughly $22 billion based on the midpoint of guidance, which is quite a pretty penny to say the least. Here, Walmart said that by early 2026, about 2/3 of its stores will be serviced by some type of automation, and roughly 55% of fulfillment center volume will be moved through the automated facilities. Unit cost averages could improve by about 20% by that time. Wow, that'd be extremely efficient. That's going to be insane. Again, people are going to, the biggest advantage Walmart has is, not just the variety of things they have, darn near everything you need in life at the Walmart stores, but it's also having an aggressive price point. So again, they need to try to work every conceivable angle possible to keep their prices aggressive and keep those customers there. And this will definitely be a strong mechanism for them to achieve that. Now, by the time, who knows in our lifetime if we'll have the stores where it's just a giant vending machine, there's robots working everywhere. Be interested to see how much robotics changes all that. Let me know, are you part of the population that appreciates having your groceries delivered straight to your home? Are you still someone who likes to go in there and pick out your own? Let me know in the comments. As always, it'd be fascinating to hear what you have to say. Other interesting business news, you have Intuit to lay off about 10% of their employees due to poor performance. Now, this brought to us thanks to Steve Galeesi over at Market Watch. They say specifically, quote, Intuit to lay off 1,800 amid location shuffle and AI investment. Tax software company said it's identified 1,050 employees who are, quote, not meeting expectations. You see a little Intuit building right there with that ginormous logo. And the company, in regard to the feedback, said, quote, to fulfill our mission to power the prosperity of our customers around the world and strengthen our leadership position, we must accelerate our innovation and investments in the areas that are most important to our future success, unquote. Which almost sounds like a political statement. It's so bland. I mean, it makes sense, but it also doesn't give us a lot of insight into the actual statement. They must have some politicians working over there. Now, he also said the tax management software company said about 1,050 employees who are not meeting expectations are departing from the company. It's also reducing its executive ranks by about 10% while expanding other roles and consolidating 80 technology roles to sites where it's growing its teams and capabilities. The teams are focused in Toronto, Atlanta, New York, Tel Aviv, and Bangalore, India. They say that Intuit will close its sites in Edmonton, Canada, and Boise, Idaho. Together, they employ more than 250 people. Some workers will relocate. They also said they're cutting about 300 employees from across the country. And it looks like the stock has been, went down by a little bit. I'm kind of curious what's the long-term stock trend is looking like for Intuit. I know a lot of people had given them some critique when they bought MailChimp.com a couple years ago, which, again, actually kind of makes sense from a complementary business perspective. When you look at a lot of the people who utilize Intuit and their other brands that they own, a lot of them are small, medium businesses, individuals who are very, more often than not, I would say those have a higher odds of being prospective customers for technologies like MailChimp, which is an email automation software, to send out email campaigns. And I see that a lot of medium-sized, mid-sized businesses using that particular brand of technology. It looks like their stock is expensive per share, $631.28 per share. Now, last week went down about 5%. That being said, the past month is up 11.73%. Year to date, it's up 5%. Past year, it's up 34.86%. Jeez. 5 years up 137%. And of course, like most long-term successful companies, the long-term, stock increase is astronomically impressive at 1,944.83%. Market cap is $176 billion, although I don't even see a dividend yield, so a little disappointing, not much of an incentive to hold the stock, but nevertheless, I think, there's a lot of, especially tech companies, there's so many, and big businesses in general, unless you're very careful about how you're growing the company and how you're running and operating it, there's a lot of fat that you could trim from the budget. There's a lot of people who, they don't necessarily need to be there. I'll never forget when I worked at HPE, in order to get pricing approved, you'd have sometimes 3 to 4 layers of bureaucracy to get it signed off on. And truth be told, by the time it actually finished that process, the customer had already bought Dell because it's so much faster and more efficient in terms of operational processes. And of course, price. Dell was able to undercut the HPE price as well. And which begs the question, do you really need 4 or 5 people to sign off on that just to get escalated pricing? Ridiculous, to say the least. But it is unfortunate. Hopefully the employees who lost their jobs are going to be able to find some gainful employment at one of the competitors or one of the other similar tech companies. They're not out of employment for too long. Now, going over to the culture part of the podcast, you have John Deere getting ratioed after their DEI leak. Now, this wasn't too surprising because John Deere, at least publicly on LinkedIn, had been very much DEI and LGBTQ for years, as many businesses are on that platform. It's a very common practice, especially for these larger companies. Now, John Deere, look at their top 10 shareholders. They're all the traditional big ones, including one that's owned by Bill Gates, but you also have the cliche, BlackRock, State Street, Vanguard. And again, those companies are looking for businesses to do what they say, and the DEI score and the ESG score and XY Banana Falcon score, those are all indicators of what companies they're going to continue to invest in or increase their investment in. So it's not too surprising John Deere is. Now the biggest juxtaposition is the average John Deere consumer, not so much about that. More often than not, there's usually conservative folks that are working on the John Deere tractors and the harvesters. I'm just saying, statistically speaking, I don't think there's a lot of short-haired blue gals on tractors using a John Deere, on average. If you ever seen that, let me know. We might need to reach out to like National Geographic for such a statistical anomaly. But it's gotten so bad, very similar to Planet Fitness, people are going back to old posts of John Deere on social media and ratioing and roasting it. Now, one of the first most interesting ones, again, this is the most recent John Deere post, and they say, quote, "Name something more Midwestern than sweet corn ice cream." Well, wait, what the hell is that? I'm from the Midwest. Sweet corn ice cream. What? I want to say they're out of touch, and maybe there's a small. Did I miss that out growing up? Sweet corn ice cream. It doesn't look good. It looks. I mean, for a second, it almost looked like a popcorn. And I don't want to say the marketing is terrible. Now, I really don't care about the person's race in this instance. It's an African-American woman. Well, I don't know the pronouns. Guessing who's holding the cup. But the dumb thing about marketing is the cup says, and again, it's a little ice cream cup, and it says, "We run for all." And you can only see the deer in terms of like the lettering. It's not rotated properly, so you see the John Deere logo. So you don't see the logo, and you don't see the John. Which, granted, is also, I mean, it is X-Twitter, so you could show the John, but I'm not talking about that one. Keep your mind out of the gutter. I mean, again, another big red flag. Why didn't they just put this logo like right there above the "We Run for All"? I guess they wanted to emphasize that more. But again, just this picture to me looked inefficient. Now, that being said, the comments are much more brutal than my own. Now, one of the first comments, and again, these companies don't necessarily have to be big on X-Twitter. I mean, truth be told, for my tech company, I don't even think we've gotten a single lead off Twitter. And granted, I pay for like the mid-level subscription, and I post about my interview podcast and like some business updates and events. But I debate if there's really much justification for a business-to-business type of business model. But nevertheless, this got 226,000 views, only 336 likes. Now, one of the first comments is Cat Turd saying, "Name something more un-American than shipping jobs to Mexico." That got 20,000 likes, which is the greatest ratio of all time. So the original post got 336. They were ratioed with 20,000 likes. Fong World also says, "Can't believe you guys went woke too," getting 1.9 thousand likes. Now we do have one. So the top three comments that we see, you do see someone by the name of Ron Siebert, who, again, this is exactly who do you think would be the prospective client. He describes himself as, what is this? Kansas City Chiefs fan, which is a sports balls team. And then he says he's an American. He has 3 American flags or emoji in his profile. And he got 6 likes for asking, "How about the recipe?" And then John Deere says, "You're going to have to talk to Whitney's Ice Cream about that." Which, okay, at least they tagged that business, so giving them a shout out. That's good. Hopefully, if they're smart, Whitney's Ice Cream would say, "Oh yeah, we use their tractors." But no, they were all ratioed. Someone by the name of Lesko says, "Is Whitney's Ice Cream have the same woke policies as John Deere?" Shame, getting 69 likes. VK says, "Do they make ice cream in Mexico too?" Getting 12 likes. Now, other top comments comes from Steelers fan, or Steelers Kansas, saying, "You do not have the right to involve the Midwest in your posts no more." Grammar be damned, I'll continue his quote. "You lay off good, hardworking Americans to ship the jobs south to Mexico. Hardworking Midwestern Americans. This is not the John Deere we grew up with. This is woke Deere, and it needs to be addressed," unquote. They got 1.7 thousand likes. Skeptic says, "I hope you get Bud Lighted," getting 1.1 thousand likes. Vicky says, "Name something more woke than John Deere. Won't be buying from anything from you anytime soon." And of course, she, like many of these other ones in responding, have American flags in their profile as an emoji. And they also, she particularly says, "God bless America, MAGA," in her description. She got 1.7 thousand likes. Let's see. Mechanics says this is far more affordable than a John Deere anyway. And it's a picture of Kubota tractor getting 473 likes, which, yeah, that company has been increasing market share. They make really bulletproof or damn near bulletproof agricultural machinery. I have a couple of farming buddies that love Kubota. And you could debate. I would say they're a proud Texas company, headquartered globally in Japan, but the U.S. headquarters, I believe, I think it's right down in Grapevine. I forget where the actual city is. It's North Dallas area. Angel says, know your customer base and realize you don't do business with people who push the woke agenda. Got 573 likes. Let's see here. Any contrarian statements? Because, I mean, there are probably only one, but maybe two farmers who appreciate John Deere's cultural activities and political activities and might buy another tractor because of it. Maybe two is being overly ambitious, but probably one. Jeff Finn says disdain for DEI grifters and their corporate lackeys. It's a picture of, what is this? Picture of the John Deere cultivator. Oh, that's fun. They did a little Photoshop there. Okay, took me a second there. It says, in terms of the page description, it says home tillage 2230 FH floating hitch field cultivator. They scratched out the word cultivator and put the word groomer in it. They got 489 likes. Let's see here. Campbell Canali says, woke as a joke. You support transitioning kids. Ken Paxton, hashtag Ken Paxton State. Can Texas cancel contracts? Getting 918 likes, which, yeah, they probably are a government contractor. Like government-owned land that you need cultivation materials for. Let's see. Red Dwarf says, not exposing kids to dragging, 266 likes. Miss J says, can't believe this company went woke. Shame on you. Listen to Robbie Starbuck video, getting 803 likes. Let's see here. Question the narrative says, Vanilla, I thought you left-wing extremist racists despise the color white. Getting 111 likes. Which, I mean, these are all verified with the blue Twitter checkmark thing. Well, granted, it also means you have a credit card. Let's see. Yeah, these are all authorized, or like, what do you call it? Authorized accounts or verified accounts. William Cycler says, go woke, go broke, getting 642 likes. So they're getting ratio left and right. Let's go to another John Deere post. Maybe they're doing better. That was July 6th. Here's one from July 4th. It says, celebrating the 4th of July. And interestingly enough, it looks like golf tees shooting into the air, and the explosion is like a John Deere golf ball. That got, how many is that? Is there even music to it? No music. Got 31,000 views, 129 likes. Oh, and the ratios. I saw the Light MAGA says, I live in a small town with many conservative farmers that will not be purchasing any more John Deere equipment. We will also stop buying from Tractor Supply. They got 278 likes. Now, that being said, Tractor Supply did pivot back from their pride, the kid, quote-unquote, kid-friendly pride praise, which isn't really a thing. But they pivoted back, so Tractor Supply, a lot of people are starting to shop there again. Let's see, American Voter says, where's the American flag? Getting 254 likes, which, yeah, it's true. They had a little animation, and it's just golf tees shooting into the night sky, and then they explode in the John Deere golf ball looking thing. Scrolling down more and more. Michael says, your customers do not like woke politics or companies which support the racism and sexism which comes along with DEI policies. I have a strong feeling many have a strong case to buy from other suppliers. And I'm pretty sure they tagged the company too, didn't they? Oh, that's just, what? Strong case? Okay, so Case is a person, apparently? I think they maybe mistagged it, because I would think they would be referring to Case New Holland, which is another agricultural machinery manufacturer. I got 132 likes. Still no positive ones yet. Let's see here. Gold member says, were the ESG points and bonuses worth it? Your shareholders should sue. The CEO and the entire board should be relieved of their duties, even the chief people officer, aka DEI officer. They got 77 likes. Now, that being said, in the shareholders, the biggest ones, they are not going to sue. If anything, they'll buy more stock. Because again, a lot of those shareholders want those policies. They want these things to happen. Joe Del Norte says, was this the day that Harvey Milk picked up the 14-year-old at City Hall, San Francisco, got 53 likes. Artivo says after promoting anti-American values, this post is especially disgraceful, getting 55 likes. Let's see. Dr. Philip Cochin says go woke, go broke, getting 33 likes. Brian G says and other people's boycott incoming. Tractor Supply FA and F out. Oh, FO. Get 85 likes. Let's see. D. Cutler MD says John Deere Special Edition is Bud Light, and it's got the CEO's. What is it? It says featuring John Deere CEO John May. 78 likes. Let's see. Colorado Searcher has a Photoshop picture of the logo. It says Juan Deere. John Deere introduced its new logo after it announced mass layoffs in Illinois, Iowa, as company moves to Mexico. Getting 16 likes. We haven't found a single positive comment yet. Relaxing Travel Video says American flag. Marketing staff are too woke. 9 likes. Awaiting Our Blessed Hope says I'll never buy another John Deere product. Getting 1 like. Are there any contrarian statements cheering for this company? Let's see. One more. 1,000-yard bullseye says how's this doing today? It's a picture of John Deere piece of machinery that's on fire. It says John Deere, friends don't let friends own John Deere. That got 31 likes. So let's just say the tide has not been turning around lately for John Deere. Again, for consumer perspective and then cultural perspective. And yet, the biggest shareholders all want this for the company. Now, I should clarify, those are the biggest shareholders, like, these are the investment companies like Vanguard Group, State Street. Now, in terms of individuals, I'm not sure how many individual shareholders, we could do the breakdown, the math, but that's why these companies have a huge incentive to listen to these businesses or these holding companies, these investment firms, as opposed to individual consumers. That being said, someone has to buy the product. And in this case, when you look at who buys John Deere tractors and machinery, I'd say overwhelming conservative folks. So I don't think this is going to be viable, especially in the short term, in terms of like a marketing stance. And again, the company's already struggling. They moved jobs to Mexico, partially because of the decrease in demand for the product and the industry is having a little bit of slowdown, but also the increase in cost of goods sold because American labor is just becoming so expensive. You also have lawsuits, and there are many reasons why people move jobs to Mexico. But I mean, the company is already a little bit of a struggle. So what is John Deere going to do? Will the CEO actually backtrack? I don't think so. Because again, the whole board of directors are probably on his side. All the shareholders, again, the biggest ones, the top 10, most of them all want this to happen. And I mean, they've been not really transparent in terms of like the average person didn't realize this, but on certain platforms, they've been promulgating these ideals for years, especially on LinkedIn. So let me know, do you think that they'll drop in terms of sales? Will it be like a 5% decrease in sales? Will it get to a double digit like Bud Light where they lost, oh my gosh, like 30% of their sales for that specific brand out of the Anheuser-Busch InBev portfolio? Let me know in the comments. As always, I'd be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Now going over to the political part podcast, the House passed the SAVE Act to stop illegals from voting, coming in at 221 yays to 198 nays. Now, this has come to us thanks to Charlie Kirk over at X Twitter. And she says, quote, breaking the SAVE Act, which requires proof of citizenship to vote in federal elections, has passed the House 221 to 198, all but 5 Democrats voted against the bill, making it extremely clear Democrats want illegals voting in November. It's about 28 seconds long. Let's see here. This is from C-SPAN, which, dear God, I can't imagine if it would be, I don't know if it would be considered torture to have someone just sit and watch C-SPAN all day long, because it usually is very uneventful and boring. Dear God, that'd be a rough job to review that. But nevertheless.
Have all members voted? Does any member wish to change their vote?
At least they suit up in DC. They do one thing right. They really do it, yeah. They're shuffling around.
On this vote, the yeas are 221, the nays are 198. The bill is passed. Without objection, the motion to reconsider is laid on the table.
And again, in terms of the breakdown, Interesting enough, yeah, you had 5 Democrats deviate to side with the Republicans as this has become a political issue. I don't think it should be a divisive thing. I would think every American citizen should believe that only American citizens should be voting in federal elections. Well, any U.S. election for that matter. Now, in terms of the the no-shows, the people didn't show up, there's 4 Republicans who weren't there. Maybe they're out sick or doing something. 10 Democrats were not there. And yeah, this is the first time in living memory where the Republicans actually did something. Well, they do a couple things every couple years, but this is one of the instances where they all voted together, which I would argue is, in terms of politics, that's much more of a strength traditionally of the Democratic Party, where they're much more unified. Republicans, partially because there's so many useless rhinos, pejoratively known as Republican in name only, usually many of them deviate and don't even stand up for, good old Republican values like, gun rights and low taxes, which I think those should be American values. I don't think it should be a political thing to think that government should be more efficient and cost less and take less of our paycheck. But nevertheless, I understand it's become a political issue. And yeah, it is quite astonishing to see 198 voted against this. And be interesting to see if they have any defense of it or what their stances are on it. But let's go to the comments. Let's see what the folks have to say. Now, one of the first, again, went pretty valid. Got 1.7 million views and 65,000 likes. Now, one of the first comments comes from the moderate man saying, I'm really trying to understand the rationale for voting against this bill. Got 659 likes. Charlie Kirk said there isn't one except they want to fraud the elections. Got 1.1 thousand likes. Paul Zupa says, that's why Joe Biden imported so many illegals. It's remarkable how Democrats don't even try to hide their intentions to cheat in elections, unquote. I got, wow, they're just going up before our eyes. Now it's 795. Salty Goat says, Democrats just put a rubber stamp on the great replacement theory and showed the world that they want our country border flooded with illegals. Getting 702 likes. And no contrarian statements yet. Let's see. Joe Zykan says, we are living in a clown world when we are taking a vote on if illegals can vote in our elections. Getting 392 likes. Loki Race 2.0 says, what is the reason anyone would vote against this bill? Getting 311 likes. Also got one of the most number of comments, 70 sub-comments. What are people saying? Hector Trulio says, because it's already a law, but Chuck is bored today, getting 69 likes. Loki says, even if it's already a law, vote for it. Erase doubts in people's minds. What do Democrats have to lose? Unless they have some ulterior motive, getting 75 likes. Let's see. AKA says, thank God it passed the House at least, getting 597 likes. That's true, and yet the Senate is a majority Democrat, as this has become a Democrat issue. Probably not going to have, Democrats very rarely deviate from the party. And I don't see it realistically passing the Senate. Also, Biden has said that he'll just veto it. Which means the only way we actually override Biden is if you have to have a huge majority in the House and the Senate vote in favor of it. Which, we just saw the numbers, it was about 50-50 split. You're not going to have, I don't think it'd be mathematically possible to get it to that majority. Or supermajority. Now, scrolling down one more. Yeah, Vivek Ramaswamy parody account saying Democrats only voted against the bill because they wanted illegals voting. That's the only way they will win, getting 219 likes. Trump family parody account, a lot of parodies today, says Democrats are starting to realize that Trump will win in 2024. Democrats are going to need to turn more elaborate cheating methods. We need to stop them, unquote, getting 141 likes. See if there's any contrarian statements here. Al Howler says this actually has a decent chance of passing in the Senate, but Biden vetoes it 10 out of 10 times, getting 54 likes. Let's see here. One bad dude says traitors voted against us, getting 99 likes. Let's see here. Going down more and more. Guns and Golf says the GOP was finally not worthless. Yay, getting 17 likes. It's a rare occasion. I'm still waiting for them to repeal the NFA after 1934. But Republicans say they're very pro-gun. It'd be nice if they would show some action behind that every once in a while. It's rare. Let's see here. Bradley Scott says, Charlie, how did Joe Biden get to 81 million votes? Do you think Democrats only wanted registered voters to vote or something? Getting 48 likes. Chris Chavez says, who were the 4 GOP no votes? Inquiring minds and voters would like to know, unquote, getting 33 likes. Good question. So not many contrarian statements here. This is perhaps going to be one of the most important things in politics of our lifetime. And of course, we had the election right around the corner. Could very well make all the difference in the world. Now, will it realistically pass and being override Biden? I'm not a gambling man, but I would say the odds are this bill will probably be dead on arrival. But as always, let me know in the comments. I'd be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Other interesting political news, you have AOC introduced articles of impeachment for the Supreme Court Justices Clarence, Thomas, as well as Samuel Alito. That's just straight from the donkey's mouth. You have AOC's ex-Twitter, and she says, quote, "Today I introduced articles of impeachment against Supreme Court Justices Clarence Thomas and Samuel Alito. Read my full statement at my silly website." Which, how long is this? Pretty long. And it went viral. It got 2.7 million views and 105,000 likes. Let's see, was she ratioed? No, not really. Well, in terms of number of comments, yes, but we'll see. The redheaded libertarian is the first commenter coming in and saying, "You are being erratic and emotional. Please calm down," getting 7.7 thousand likes. Our favorite leftists are here. Well, not really favorite, but echo chambers get boring. So I follow as many folks as I can, left and right. Keith Aloha, which, ridiculous. He has the, what is it, the pineapple tree emoji. And the most ridiculous thing is, he's not wearing an Aloha, like a little stupid little Hawaiian t-shirts or polo thingamajigs with a, floral pattern. He's wearing like a standard Midwestern flannel pattern design t-shirt. F- for marketing, Mr. Keith Aloha. Now, he is, of course, he describes himself as his Twitter profile, "Vote Democrat 2024, it will be the last time you can." LGBTQ, animal lover, pro-choice, gun reform, expand SCOTUS, no MAGA, and never Trump. So, very much leftist, crazy, but nevertheless, an opinion. And he says, quote, "Thank you, AOC. SCOTUS justices need to be held accountable on so many levels. Others should be questioned about their lies and their oath as they were going through hearings when nominated." Mentally vacuous, partially mentally vacuous, got 185 likes. I would love to, remember when Ketanji Jackson Brown, which Biden only chose because of her race and gender, they asked her, when she was being nominated, they asked her, "Miss Brown, can you define what a woman is?" Her response was, "I don't know, I'm not a biologist." Yeah, mentally vacuous, of course. Now, Keith, of course, did get 189 likes, 28 comments. Art Candy, who, again, she's a leftist, ridiculous. Her name is Candy, Candee, which is a dumb name, obviously. It's almost as silly as a name like Topping. Oh, wait, I partially digress, but she also has emojis. The emojis in her name are a popcorn bag, which I'm pretty sure is salty, not sweet. And then it's a picture of, a cup of water with a straw, which I don't know anyone who is physically able-bodied who has ever consumed water in that way. Also, it's not sweet, so 2 fails, this alleged Art Candy. Now, she says, quote, "Now we flip the House in November and get it done." 5 exclamation points, so you know she's serious. She got 545 likes, and even more, or relatively speaking, got 168 responses. One of the first responses comes from Jeremy, says, "I can't wait for you to get a real job," getting 81 likes, which, isn't she the Chardonnay board person? Let's see. I forget. Pretty sure she is. Or am I thinking of someone else? No, I'm thinking of another leftist. She actually does post very actively political responses. Now, let's see. Jess says, "Is this a parody account, or do you really fail social studies in the 2nd grade?" Getting 95 likes. Jeez. Mayo Monkey has a picture of just a rudimentary cartoon scribble. And it says, "Oh no, I'm retarded." Getting 12 likes. Ruthie Brown says, "Why do Democrats hate the U.S. Constitution so much?" Getting 3 likes. RoboCo says, "With illegal votes, huh?" Getting 45 likes. So she wasn't ratioed by the number of likes, but by the number of comments. Most of these comments are all ratioing her. You have a little GIF from James of, from James Q of Justin Trudeau. That's a joke, because technically the picture is a GIF of someone playing Mr. Castro, Fidel Castro, most mentally and morally vacuous persons ever. So Art Candy was ratioed. I also have the quartering saying they're not going to date you, getting 544 likes. David Hogg is a famous leftist I better be following him already. Yes, he is. Very famous anti-gunner who also, I believe, has been I think someone actually released some pay slips to show he actually gets paid by DNC. Nevertheless, he has over 1 million followers, which is another friendly reminder to click that follow button if you want to follow me on the X Twitter, or just subscribe to this video, or comment, or like, or don't like, downvote it and let me know why. Any engagement is appreciated. Let's see here. Native Patriot says, your mom left her book at my house, and it's a vintage-looking book. The spine is in rough shape. This book is falling apart. But it says, Educating the Retarded Child by Kirk Johnson, which is fascinating to see the vernacular changing throughout history. And yeah, if you ever want to go to an antique store, you'll have a lot of laughs. And I don't know, I love history. Just obviously, you see half the signs behind me, or all the signs behind me in the video are all defunct businesses. So I'm definitely a history nerd. I got 1,000 likes. Let's see. JD Sharp says, not ruling the way you want isn't impeachable in America. Getting 2.2 thousand likes. Sunday Girl, although spelled like the Sunday you would eat. Nevertheless, she says Clarence Thomas took a yacht on a trip to Russia in helicopter to see one of Putin's palaces. WTF? Fact check. He did go to Russia, or was it? He went to Europe on a friend's yacht, and he did go to Russia. Like many people. But nevertheless, I got 1.8 thousand likes. Oh, this is funny. Salty Goat says, ha ha ha, let me know how that works out for you. And it's a picture of AOC looking confused. Well, she always looks confused. More confused than usual. And she said, the picture says, I'm going to impeach the Supreme Court. And then you have the justices saying, bartender said what? They got 3.3 thousand likes, which should be an inspiration for every American. If a bartender AOC can make it into politics to make 6 figures plus, anyone can succeed. You don't have to be smart, intelligent. Well, I guess she got the genetic lottery and she probably healthy lifestyle. She looks moderately attractive to some folks. So there's that advantage, of course. Some of us, like me, have to work like hell and overcome that. But nevertheless, going down more and more. Van Detstein says, you're throwing a temper tantrum for internet points, making more Trump voters every day. Thank you for your service. Getting 4.8 thousand likes. Which, I mean, yeah, in terms of movies on the political chessboard, this will help her. I mean, people in DSC are going to see this and love it. Well, obviously, you saw how many people loved her comment. I mean, she will probably make money just off printing mugs and, mouse pads on this. If people buy mouse pads, I don't think they do these days. But, I mean, I understand, even though it's mentally vacuous, I think it's more like, I understand why she's doing it. And again, in terms of her statement, there are some points in terms of calling for transparency with Supreme Court justices where, yeah, there should be. However, it should be equally applied, like everything. And of course, like many things, it's hypocrisy. Because again, just do a little bit of research on Sotomayor, and you see what types of gifts they're getting. Yeah, the law should be equally applied. Unfortunately, in the United States, more often than not, it seems like there's only one group of people politically prosecuted these days. Let's see. X Van Fleet says, AOC, the communist Dems are so emboldened and desperate that they will do anything to take down and destroy what they can't control. They got 3.6 thousand likes. Let's see. Going down more and more. Not a lot. Trying to see if there's any more contrarian statements. I mean, we all kind of saw this coming. They've been trying to go after after Thomas for quite some time. And here. Oh, this is a good one. Spangled Shimmer says, we hear you loud and clear. And it's I forget what her name is. She's famous. I mean, after Trump won the first time, she just broke down and started to cry. And of course, a lot of redundancies here. She's obviously leftist. She has short hair. He has a beanie hat on. Looks like a yellow raincoat and the glasses. You know the meme. And the text has been changed to, this is a threat to democracy because I didn't get my way. Getting 264 likes. So will this actually go anywhere? I mean, there's been a lot of rumors about how the Dems really want to expand the Supreme Court to get a super majority again, because for the first time in my lifetime, we actually have more constitutionalists on the Supreme Court than not. And maybe this will be the new way, just removing them. Let me know in the comments what you think the end result will be. As always, fascinated to hear what you have to say. Now going over to the business blunder of the day, you have BMW recalling 394,000 vehicles. Well, because the airbags might be deadly. Now this is brought to us thanks to David Shipperson over at Reuters. And here's a little picture of one of the infamous airbags that apparently is, well, the recall is expanding. They say, quote, German automaker BMW said that it was recalling 394,000 vehicles in the U.S. due to a faulty airbag inflators that could potentially cause serious or fatal injuries. The airbag inflator could explode, sending potential deadly sharp metal fragments flying and striking the driver and or others in the vehicle. BMW said the issue covers the airbag inflators that had been previously recalled, but the vehicle could have had a replacement steering wheel installed with a defective airbag, which, again, the Takata airbag recall was the biggest automotive recall in history. Spoiler alert, there's a lot of parts that are used by myriad of manufacturers, airbags being one of them. Now, again, most of the companies by now had recalled the original vehicles, but it sounds like, oh, whoops, the replacement steering wheels. I forgot about that. Now, they say that the owners will take vehicles to dealers for inspections, and if the steering wheel had a recalled airbag found in it, it will be replaced. Now, thankfully, BMW is ahead of the situation. No one has perished or, been injured due to this yet. Now, they say that the faulty airbag inflators manufactured by Japanese automotive parts company Takata Corp are at the center of the largest, most complex, expensive recall in history. Now, again, in terms of that total recall, not the specific one, more than 30 deaths, including 26 in the U.S., and hundreds of injuries since the 2009 had been attributed to Takata airbags fitted in vehicles of various automotive manufacturers. And it looks like over the past decade, 100 million vehicles have been fitted with Takata airbag inflators that were recalled nationwide. Which, again, that's the biggest recall. That's the biggest business blunder, bar none, when it comes to a mass recall of products and parts. And it's not great for BMW. Hopefully the owners understand, they don't take it too personally in terms of, yeah, BMW should have checked for this. Again, it's a business blunder, but it's also an instance where there's the biggest manufacturer in town in terms of the airbags, and yeah, pretty much every manufacturer had that recall because of it. Now, of course, this isn't good. You still paying the rear end for consumers because you have to go to BMW dealership, where of course it'll be fixed for free, but it'll say it costs you something in terms of time and energy and resource allocation. Depending on how complex or how long it takes for them to swap this out, maybe have to leave their car overnight, have to deal with maybe have a rental, or if they don't have a lease or a borrower car over there. But nevertheless, they probably should have checked this a little bit sooner, since again this recall has been known for quite some time. So I have to say, BMW, that recall for the airbags, that is certainly the business blunder of the day. Thank you everyone for taking the time to tune in. Again, trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month. So if you could click that button, I would greatly appreciate it. Also, leaving a thumbs up, thumbs down, or comment is a great way to give me some additional feedback, letting me know how I can make the show better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take the time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe, fight the good fight.